Welcome back to the Nerdrotic Podcast. My name is Gary Buechler. I come to you from nerdrotic.com, and I am live in San Francisco, California, and down in San Diego is my good friend and co-host and birthday boy, Dennis Bithoulkas. What's up, man? Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yes. Nothing much. Just, like I was saying before, dealing with a shitty situation, as you will know.
Literally.
My dog,
yeah.
yes, my dog has the diarrhea going on.
Breaking news.
Yeah, I know, really.
Pepper has diarrhea. I hope she's okay. Poor little Pepper.
Yeah. She's got medication now, so she'll be doing good.
Excuse me there. Who is not okay is Fredrick and Tanya.
Yeah. Mobley and Trenton, yes.
Mobley and Trenton, yes. Hang on, I lost my train of thought there. That was a sad ending there.
It was, but it also kind of, as we said in a very long pre-production meeting, it kind of harkens back to season 2 with Gideon and Romero, with their deaths. And, Romero's death was ruled out by the FBI as not being done by the Dark Army, but by a stray bullet from a neighbor, which is complete and total bullshit now that we know that Santiago is,
Yep.
So, yeah,
no,
it's all staged.
This episode, sorry, I said Fredrick. Had the episode title in my head for some reason. So, this episode title is Fredrick plus Tanya .chk or something like that. Some more code. That was really depressing. I like those two, and it also shows you the timeline we're running for season 3. This is all happening within, I don't know, a few days.
No, it's a couple weeks.
It's a couple weeks. Okay,
yeah.
Okay, so we'll say 10 days, maybe 10 to 14 days. It seems like it's happening over a very short period of time. Now, it's great to see Joey Badass back, and that beginning with the whole Knight Rider thing was freaking great. I love the
Knight Rider. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. So and him being in the Frasier and being mystified why people like it, which is something I echo. Which is I never understood why people like that show.
Well, he was saying he liked it. It's just the only thing that took him out of it was that how could a balding old white guy smash so much, as he puts it.
And then 37 primetime Emmys too. Yeah. Well, I didn't like it. Okay, so maybe I didn't catch that. He was just more mystified, yes, by that's sitcoms. I mean, haven't we noticed that with a bunch of sitcoms? There's always because they always base them around a comedian. So it's always some dumpy looking comedian with some super hot wife, which just, come on. And that's why we liked Roseanne. Roseanne was a real family. Yeah. The first couple seasons I liked Roseanne. Yeah, I did. I did like Roseanne. For a sitcom, I do not like them for the most part ever. Married with Children is my favorite. So
yes.
Yeah, that's the only one that's worth even talking about. But loved hearing the Knight Rider theme. So it's good to see our Geek Squad from Fry's in it, but then they died. Not to bury the lead, but they died. And it seems through this episode, and we'll get into it deeper, that some of our theories look like they might not be happening, or they're just kind of hoodwinking us a little bit.
We're getting, it's really hard to say. I mean, it could just be that we've been seeing things through Elliot's eyes for so long that, we may have been led in one direction, and who knows, we might be starting to see everything through Mr. Robot's eyes at this point, which would be kind of interesting.
Yeah, Elliot was barely in this episode at all.
Yeah.
And so was Mr. Robot wasn't in it very much either. And where he was, I guess he was okay with killing a single building full of people. He wasn't okay with killing 71 buildings full of people.
Well, I think he was going to have the building evacuated.
Yeah, but there was times he just didn't seem to care that much. Like, I'll try to get it evacuated, but if it doesn't, shit, whatever. I don't know. This this was a pretty straightforward episode. There was some, when we get to Angela, we'll get to other stuff. So it's still kind of there. But so Joey Badass, Leon is this character's name.
Yes, Leon.
Is chauffeuring our Geek Squad pair there to what they think is their death, and it starts out like I love how the episode starts out right on his roommate, with his throat slashed, and then Leon kind of goes into the whole just the sitcom thing, which was I don't know. I laugh way too much at the show at times. I probably shouldn't, but what the hell?
Yeah, and then we cut over to Elliot, still watching the news on the TV outside, and he ends up running straight to Krista to confess that what Mr. Robot and him have done. And as he's doing it, he starts having another malfunction, which was kind of reminiscent of the Matrix.
Yep.
Even using the same kind of distortion. And then Mr. Robot, of course, comes out, and he basically just tells everything to Krista. He says everything about what's going on, that he orchestrated 5-9 and, step 2 as well. And that someone took it over from him and stole it from him and perverted it. And he has one of the best lines out of this, episode. He goes, "You keep lapping up those sugar-coated pearls of semen they keep pouring down your throat."
Oh my God. And only can be delivered by Christian Slater, which is brilliant.
And just basically that's in regards to, they caught Wellick, and that Wellick was the one that was the mastermind, behind all this. He's like, "No, that's not true." He goes, "I did it. Wellick worked for me." And basically just tells her everything, because he just doesn't care at this point. It's already been done. And he's just pissed. He's pissed that the Dark Army has taken it away from him.
Yeah. And it all seems to be falling apart, and it all seems to be going to Zhang's plan. He's turned into full-on like Bond villain at this point.
Yeah.
We got one delicious little scene with him and Price, and and I guess you were right all along with he was, Price was put into Evil Corpusio by Zhang.
Yeah.
We find out, and yeah, Zhang has been in control all the time. But what we talked about in the previous podcast is it seems like Zhang was like always committed to time. And he had even mentioned to Elliot, like, God, I hope you're not in this for something as trifle as revenge. But Zhang got disrespected by Price, and this whole thing
it wasn't disrespect. It was that he had asked him twice. He's not used to being ignored, as Glenn Close would say in Fatal Attraction.
Yeah, I would call that a form of disrespect. It got emotional, okay, because because Price wasn't going to his plan. Now, yeah, we know Zhang is the head of the Dark Army, and and we got a speech at the end where they are totally committed, and they will off themselves without question. So I know he's used to that. And this did go to Price's head quite a bit, being a CEO and being the biggest badass in the room, I guess. So he was checking him, and he's straight up like neutering him right now and embarrassing him. I'm surprised he didn't off him right there in the room, to be honest with you. I'm surprised he let Price, pop off to him like that much. And when he was, talking to Price, and we'll go over the whole episode, but we're like, these are the big things that happen right now. When he was talking to Price, he mentioned it was Angela that was kind of what pissed him off. He asked Angela to be taken care of, and the lawsuit to go forward jeopardized his plan. And he had to change things, and
it pushed the plan up. It basically moved things along quicker than he wanted to.
Yeah, so he had to make changes, and he punished him by, destroying most of his company. Now, we know E-Corp is going to be okay because the Dark Army is behind it. The Dark Army is E-Corp at this point.
Yes.
we still don't know what the Congo project is, but when he was talking to Price, he's like, listen, I had to step in with Angela and we got a shot of White Rose. So one of our theories is that White Rose and Zhang are two different people. Maybe two different entities occupying the same body, which could still be, but I think it just kind of took away from that a little bit, or maybe it wants us.
I think it just wants us to think that. Yeah.
Wants us to think that. Yeah. The writer.
And I believe the Congo, basically Zhang's plant, the one that was the one that gave Angela's mother and Mr. Robot, Mr. Alderson, cancer. That's what the whole plot was of Angela's lawsuit. That plant is actually being moved to the Congo. That was the reason for the purchase of the annexing of the Congo.
Yeah. And didn't we talk about last episode that Mr. Robot and Angela's mom were probably aware of what they were working on? You know, they might have been aware. It seems that they were. I don't know if they were aware that they were.
It's the whole sacrifice. Remember what Zhang's second in command, who still has no name, by the way, on IMDb. It's a blank name. He says, we're all just soldiers. We will kill ourselves without question, because what is, the ultimate sacrifice but to give of oneself?
Yeah, it's the most honorable.
Yeah, it's the most honorable thing. And that all goes back to, Mr. Alderson and Angela's mom. I think they sacrificed themselves for whatever purpose. And so this Dark Army, like we said in the last podcast, we speculated that this whole plan has been put into motion long ago, back when the parents there got cancer.
Oh yeah, this thing's been going on for a long time. Whatever it is, maybe they're building another CERN in the Congo, like there isn't enough room in China. But yeah, it's getting to the point where, and I think we're going to find out real soon. I think by next episode. The one cool thing about this show is it does wait for the end. Usually is kind of a mind F, but they keep giving us a little bit of information. This is another episode that kind of played like a finale, with how it ended. Each episode has been ramping up the endings, and it's getting epic. It's getting epic in scope, and in production. It's transcending from a weird, quirky little show. I mean, it's still weird and quirky, don't get me wrong, into something a little more linear in this episode. I mean, they could change that, but that's what it kind of felt like,
Yeah.
It's just basically one puppet master manipulating two things to, change a society. And, they had the whole meeting when Mr. Robot, the whole thing with him with Krista was insane. That was crazy. And she wants to rat him out. And she even checks with her superior, and he's like, no, you can get, her lawyer. Oh, was it a lawyer? Okay. I thought it was like her boss or something.
Because he said as your counsel.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So Mr. Robot goes and finds Irving at his shop, and he's working on a car and gets knocked out. And, after ranting at him like, hey, this was my project, this isn't how it's supposed to go. And Irving looks surprised that he was there. He's like, oh, he did his not super surprised. He's like, did his typical,
well, also
look at that.
Remember the music that's playing is Robert Plant's I'm in the mood for melody.
Yep.
It says, I pull the strings and you dance.
Yeah.
That's part of the lyrics of that song.
Also, back to when Krista was talking to her lawyer, the ticking of the clock in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I want to double back that I tried to I didn't have a ton of time to watch tonight's episode. A lot of stuff happened after work, getting ready for Thanksgiving and stuff. And but I did rewind when Elliot was transitioning into Mr. Robot. Mm-hmm. There was these voices. Now it could have been Krista, like going, Elliot, are you okay? Or I couldn't tell what it was.
Yeah.
It sounded like either she asking if he was going to be okay, or it was a female voice saying, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. I guess if anybody, I'm going to go back and watch it again. It didn't come up on the closed captions either. Yes, I'm getting that dorky on this show. I'm trying to figure out anything I can. I might be reading way too much into it, but what the hell? I had a second. So I was like, what the hell is it? I hear a voice, you know? But when he does transition, it sounds like an old phone line when they would go bad and you can hear voices in the background.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah, you had cross connect.
Yeah. But it also sounded a little bit like a bad connection on like dial up too. So I don't know, could be nothing, but yeah, I did notice the song. I didn't notice the strings. I was just listening to the song because I like the song. But yeah, that's funny. And then
and this whole episode is all about puppets being manipulated. So you have Santiago slapping down Dom. I mean, he just does it in a, again, another vicious way. Also, Santiago going in and talking to Wellick and basically telling him, matter of fact, your wife's dead. Your son's in, a foster home that has a 1 out of 5 abuse rate, which is pretty good, and yeah. I mean, just basically tell him if he doesn't play ball with them, that basically his son's going to be another statistic and he's never going to see the light of day. And also Irving taking Mr. Robot over to a party with all these rich people that are celebrating still, because he says those are the people that financed your revolution. That's the reason why it didn't work. And just, and then also we tail back around again to Mobley and Trenton and what they're being, literally forced as puppets and into the staged scene, if you will, that the FBI ends up finding.
Yeah. So let's go back to Santiago real quick. When he was talking to his mom on the phone, I was starting to feel a little sympathetic for him. He's like, he looked like he was freaking out. It looked like he didn't realize that there were 71 buildings that were going to blow up, and he threw his phone, and I'm like, oh man, he's regretting what he's doing. Then he walks into Wellick and it turns off the camera, which that's going to get noticed, by the way.
Yeah.
That's going to get noticed, and we'll get to that later. So he turns off the camera and nonchalantly says, yeah, your wife's dead. Yeah, your wife's dead, and you're what you just said. Yeah, what a dick. I hope that guy dies a horrible, horrible death. I half expected Tyrell to freak out on him.
The table. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's going to end very badly if they let Tyrell live. He's not a very stable person, but it felt really bad for the psychotic murdering Tyrell. It's hard. There's a lot of blood on people's hands now.
Yeah.
So our protagonist, he engineered this, and Darlene killed somebody. Angela was now involved in killing somebody. Irving is Irving. Leon is Leon. I'm trying to think, is anybody clean? Well, the last two people that were pretty clean, Mobley
and Trenton,
and Trenton got offed. So
Dom is the only one.
Dom and Krista, Krista's. So Dom is figuring it out. Like, she's starting to, I think she even insinuated in that argument, like, there's just not something right. I don't think she thinks Santiago is in on it yet, but she's going to catch on if she hasn't caught up already. She's just played way too smart in this show.
Yeah. I think she already does know that Santiago is, she's already been cock blocked too many times at this point by Santiago that it's more than a coincidence. So I'm fairly sure that she knows that he's working, in some fashion to block her on this.
Yeah, and just even when we fast forward to the end, when she's looking at her board, and it's, she's like, God damn, you're gonna get away with this, and she puts White Rose. She's the only one who believes in White Rose. Everybody thinks it's just a urban legend, a fairy tale.
Yeah.
I could have sworn I saw something written on the wall right above Tyrell. I did that said surveillance footage, missing surveillance footage. So she did catch that Santiago turned off the camera. which if you go back, it's written right above it, written in like red pen or black pen, right above Terrell's head on the board.
Huh.
Yeah, so that's kind of a big deal. That's kind of a big deal. But you know, did you catch when Mr. Robot was talking to Krista, and he said, "Well, why are we always using a middleman? Why can't I talk to him myself?"
Yeah.
They've had
which is kind of weird given the last episode where they were fighting back and forth and they were talking, with the screen, and they didn't seem like Mr. Robot really wanted to talk to him to begin with. And I'm wondering now if there's two different versions of Mr. Robot.
That's a good question, because there's the one that protects Elliot, which could be the one that just manifests in his head.
I think that's the one he's created. Yeah.
Yeah. And there is the sadistic one that wants to,
kill everybody.
So was this Mr. Robot different than the one who's been working on? Nah, not really, because he was like down with the project. He like, this is my project. I'm just pissed that it got taken over. I don't know on that one. That would be interesting. I don't know when we're gonna find out though. That's the thing. I don't think we're gonna find out this fully this season anyway.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But this season, what I was getting to earlier, is way more fast paced. It's taken over over a shorter period of time. And with Angela and Darlene, for one, Darlene is not the best person to console somebody when they're freaking out over murdering. She's just like, here's the remote, here you go.
Well, yeah, Darlene's just looking for a place to hide out at the moment, and Angela seems to be the best place to hide out, right now. Like she said, I'm gonna go grab my crap and I'll be back. It's not that long, here, watch some TV.
Yeah. And just rewind stuff. Oh, it's only 4,000 people now.
Yeah,
I'm okay. It's all gonna be okay. So of course she does the whole rewinding thing, and that makes you think, okay, all right, so as weird as that scene was last season when she was basically being interviewed by herself, or at least the same actress who played her as young Angela.
Yeah.
What do you think White Rose did when she talked to Irving about like what she saw? She said to Irving, did you see it or did she show you?
Do you know?
Do you know? Oh, do you know? Okay, that's what she said.
And he said, yeah, he does. And yeah, going back to it, they've seen it. So they have seen it. It's just that Irving doesn't believe it. I don't think he believes it entirely. And even if he does, he doesn't care.
Yeah, he's way too sociopathic to care. The point I'm getting to is I think there is the possibility White Rose just showed her something to manipulate her because of her dead mom.
Yeah.
And she would be very easy to manipulate. Now, Irving, on the other hand, no. He would just go, like he always does. I'm looking forward to a little flashback on what he's all about.
It'd be interesting to see what Irving's background is. Going back to Irving, when he's in the garage and Mr. Robot comes in and the two Dark Army operatives hit Mr. Robot in the back of the head, knocking him out. Those same two operatives end up appearing in Arizona to help out Leon and the unnamed Mr. Zhang's counterpart there to set up that whole lab for Mobley and Trenton, the staging area. How do they get from New York to Arizona that quickly?
Well, they're behind masks, so we're assuming they're the same people. They probably are. And that goes with the sandwich eater guy.
The sandwich guy, yeah.
Yeah.
How in the hell do these guys get around so damn quickly?
Yeah. I mean, the sandwich eater guy's pretty much been in New York, right? So
yeah.
But those other guys, that's a good point. That's very interesting. Could it have been another day? It looked like, they were doing the raid in like the morning. So I don't know. Maybe early in the morning. There might have been enough time. I don't know.
It just plays, there's too much playing of the timeline here that we don't get a definitive timeline, I guess you could say, as to when things are happening.
And there's a lot of mention of time and time
Yes.
sensitive. I think it was mentioned twice when Terrell was looking through the book and they framed Mobley and God, why am I blanking on? I keep blanking on her gosh damn name.
On Trenton?
Trenton. Yes, I want to see. And so I kind of thought for a minute that Terrell meant to escape, and it wasn't part of the Dark Army's plan, but it is. So he knew to finger them, and that's probably was in the information that he read last episode.
Yep.
And this was the plan all along, which is really messed up because they did not deserve it. What were you? Because I wasn't sure what to expect when they got into when the FBI raided the room and it was empty. I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't actually expecting them to be in there dead. I guess I should have, but I was expecting it was like a hoodwink or something like that. Like it was, like I don't know. I thought that they were maybe psyching them out and it was in another location. And then they just drew the FBI somewhere else, but no, they were dead. And when they saw blood on the screen and stuff, that was messed up, man.
Yeah.
That was bad. Even though they haven't been in the show that much, most of F Society is gone now. So it's clear that that's the Dark Army is just systematically
they're
killing
cleaning house. They're definitely cleaning house. I mean, first they take out Romeo.
Yeah.
And yes, that is not a stray bullet that came from his neighbor. It was the Dark Army cleaning house. Gideon, they took out Gideon as well. They obviously hired the guy who kills him. So that, and then of course we have Mobley and Trenton now dying. So are we going to get the Dark Army going after Elliot at this point?
Well, I think they're going to go after Darlene. I think they're going to clean house with everybody. And in any normal show, this would be the main part of the plot. Yeah. I think this is such a deep
and Darlene's
plot.
Boyfriend.
Yeah, and they took him out too. I wonder if there's a reason Darlene survived. Then there must be some reason she survived because they could have taken her out.
Yeah, I think what it is that she has a connection with Elliot.
Yep.
And Mr. Robot, and basically they need her for that for some reason. Kind of like they're using Angela, who can spot the difference between the two. So they're using both Angela and Darlene in some sense. And I'm almost wondering if there's some other connection between Darlene and Angela other than Elliot.
Yeah. I think there might be. There's so much we still don't know. We still don't know anything about the much about the family. We know what we've been told in season 1. But it could be when you plant this, we don't know even what's real.
Yeah.
And Elliot's losing control. And they really build this season as the relationship between Mr. Robot and Elliot was going to change, for good. I wonder if there's going to be some kind of split. I don't know how, but at some point I don't know. That would be, or we just lose Elliot or something. I don't know.
Also, one of our commenters on YouTube brought up a good point. They said they think that Price might actually be Angela's father.
Oh, wow. I mean, that's why he cared about. Yeah, because that guy doesn't care about much.
Yeah, he doesn't care about much. But why would he, take this nobody who's bringing a lawsuit against their company, take her under his wing and bring her into, because against Zhang's orders.
Yeah, I mean that was a weird move. I mean, if you think about it, it's on the surface he said it was just because I like your moxie kid. It's got to be something more than that, right?
Yeah.
To risk everything over somebody. Yeah, I think there's something to that. Now, obviously dad had no inkling of that. And we've only seen Angela's mom once, and that's during the party. And she looked angelic and dying.
Yeah. And we've never seen her dad, or, in that picture.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I was kind of more thinking that if there was going to be an affair, it would have been between Elliot's dad, Mr.
Well, there's that too.
Yeah.
There's that possibility as well.
Yeah. So that's a good point, though. And if you're watching and want to be part of the chat, we do the recap first, and then we start hitting your comments, which we're going to be doing here shortly.
And I love Zhang's line, by the way, when Price says, "Why? Why did you do it? I just want to know why." And Zhang just says, "The opportunity to teach a lesson."
Yep.
And I was like, wow. And, it goes back to that whole thing, what you're talking about. You're not doing this for revenge, are you? That's just very petty. It's the same thing. The opportunity to teach a lesson is revenge. So, yes.
Yeah. Even though Zhang was in total control in that situation, it's still getting emotional and, very Bond villain, like I said before. Price lost it. And, I wouldn't underestimate him either. Like, he looks like he's down and out right now. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, he has a lot of knowledge, and I don't know why they're keeping him alive. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, because especially since Zhang's like, you're going to bring in your own replacement and, all this stuff. And, yeah, it's just like, really, dude, you're going to let this guy live still? He's knows all the stuff about you.
Yeah, and you didn't have a problem killing his predecessor. Yeah. So, and taking a few people out with him because it was a plane crash, I think. So, yeah, that's a bit of an odd move. So he must still need him for something too. And we haven't seen White Rose in a while. When was the last time we saw one? White Rose.
We just saw her in a flashback. That was it.
Yep. But there was a lot of ticking clocks again, a lot of mention of time and time running out. So it still feels like we're counting, even though we've had the explosion and what they framed Trenton and Mobley with they were gonna
crash planes.
Yeah, they were gonna do like a multiple 9/11,
and they also pinned it on Iran because she's Iranian.
Yeah. Well, did you hear the cops when they go in? They go, "There's an Iranian flag," and I could have sworn I heard one say, "Or it's the Geek Squad."
No, he didn't say anything like.
I could have sworn I heard the Geek Squad. Somebody said Geek Squad, like they're from the Geek Squad or something like that. Somebody goes, "I see an Iranian flag," and I heard Geek Squad. So that would have been funny. Oh man, I gotta watch that cord. I got my bum mic. It cut out on my podcast last night, like right towards the end. Kind of sucked. Yeah, I gotta get a new mic. It's almost like your internet cutting out.
Thanks.
Like right in the middle of the podcast. How's that connection, man? Yeah, really freaking good episode, man. Just a good episode. I'm looking forward to next week because from here on out, I'm going to be able to watch these twice with a schedule I've worked out with work, so I'll be a little tighter. It'll be nice to because this is a show you need, like with The Gifted or something like that. I don't need to see it twice, but this one I just feel like I need to go over one more time. No, I know. So let's see if we have any comments, Dennis. So how old are you now, Dennis?
I am younger than a tree.
There you go.
But older than a loaf of bread?
Well, it depends. All right. Was it like Egyptian bread? There we go. I don't want to. There we go. Hey, we got Cy back. What's up, Cy? How you doing? And he says, "Happy birthday, Dennis."
Thank you. Thank you very much.
What in God's name do you hope to gain? The opportunity to teach a lesson. Brilliant. That's what he says. I suspect that Dom's Python investigation is about to receive Elliot and Darlene's cooperation. But how about the Dark Arm? But how could the Dark Army be taken down at this point? That's impossible at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. The only thing that I can think of that's going to happen is the only way they could be taken down is if something happens with this whole eCoin bid, that it blows up somehow in China's face, And in order to save face, they need to take out all the Dark Army, get rid of them somehow in order to save the country, save China as a country.
Yeah, you know what is missing in all this is, Zhang is what position is he in government?
He's the minister. I want to say he was the minister of defense, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he's a minister, so he's not the head honcho in government.
No.
So he
He's
must
up there,
have enemies, or not even enemies, competitors.
Yeah, he's going to have people that are jockeying for a position. I'm thinking he's going to get taken out by his subordinate, who's right now doing all his dirty work for him.
Yep, and has been pissed all along that Elliot's stayed in. Has been jealous of Elliot. Yeah, I think it's going to be Zhang's getting emotional or egotistical, taking his eye, getting emotional about any situation doesn't help all the time, especially when you're trying to conquer the world.
He's doing it for revenge. He's doing it for revenge at this point, and he even said it's not the right motive.
Yeah, well, we still don't know what Zhang's motive is. Like we knew what the motive of this particular event, but what's the overall motive?
Exactly.
Could the widening of the gap between Elliot and Mr. Robot be due to superconductor slowly becoming operational? Yes, absolutely. That's why the constant mention of running out of time. So, and maybe that's why we haven't seen White Rose in a while either. Or it's probably just because Zhang's had to play his part. But yeah, that could be very interesting. That has a bit of mention of that. Now they did in the first episode. They were in that nuclear plant, I guess, and I guess that could have been whatever this thing is.
Yeah, I know they were talking about because they kept having the brownouts and things like that, and that's the reason why they had their own power supply to get the plant up and running. So yes, they were bringing the plant up to speed.
Yeah, we just assumed that the power going out was because, the hack went down. It might have not been just the hack.
It might not have been.
Yeah, it probably was, but that's something to think about. That's definitely something to think about. Hey, it's okay you're late to the party. It's all right. It's still a party. David W. says, sorry late to the party, but any discussion about the LHC that was shown in previous episode, does it have any connection with the theory of time travel? What's the LHC? Help me, Dennis.
I don't know what the LHC is.
David, what's the LHC? Sorry. Once you tell me, I'm gonna know. Or brownouts caused by the LHC.
Oh, that must be the like the Hadron Collider.
Oh, okay. That's what we were thinking. We were thinking that that's what caused it. I think that's probably a great explanation now. Yeah, CERN. Yeah. He said CERN. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
I only know it as CERN. He's probably like idiot. But sorry. They need to kind of show us something pretty soon. Like the theories are getting great on Reddit, and I know some of them are right because the writer of the show has said they're right.
Yeah.
He didn't say which ones, but everybody seems to be pretty much on the same page on the Reddit. Now, Reddit, you got to dive. I'm sure you guys have been on Reddit. You got to dive through oh, wow, holy shit, and look at my meme to find some actual good theories.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones is the worst for that now. But I still love Reddit, and it's a great place to dig for theories. I didn't have time to dig for it today. But I felt like this episode dialed some of these theories back, or at least they wanted us to think that. I overthink stuff all the time. So I'm God, I don't want to get disappointed if this stuff doesn't happen, but I might be a little bit at this point, because that's where you want to kind of level up this show, where it becomes just not just a normal show about a hacker. That's the cool thing. That was the cool thing about The Matrix. Like, it starts out with this hacker, and it goes like, way down the rabbit hole. And I'm hoping this kind of does the same thing, except it ends a lot better than,
The Matrix,
trilogy. Yes. Not the first movie. The first movie's great, but I don't know. What do you think, D?
No, I agree with you. I mean, I'm hoping that it continues on the rabbit hole as well. I mean, I know right now they're kind of bouncing back and forth between is it or isn't it? Is it or isn't it? And like I said with Angela in the last episode, she was just about to tell Elliot what was going on, and she pulls back. And they're gonna do this to us a couple of times, I think. We're just gonna get a little fishy, and then they're gonna pull it out.
Yeah, I think they're gonna save it for the last episode, but they'll probably give us a pretty strong hint. Sam did say that he doesn't want to lead the viewers on, so he, pretty much. I only watched one post-show interview, and it was really good. But he said, I don't want to lead the viewers on, and you will be able to figure it out. It's just what the result is something that will surprise you. So you'll be all, okay, so it is the CERN thing, and it's rewinding time or resetting time. But when you see the result, it's going to supposedly, like the ending of this season's supposed to like be jaw-dropping.
Nice.
That's what all the actors said. They said, oh my God, this is the craziest season. So, and I know actors say that all the time, but I think with this show, I don't think it's hyperbole. This show doesn't get enough
13 episodes,
attention.
Right? We have 13 episodes.
No. I think it's
only 10,
12 or 10. Let me double check that. Not that you can totally trust IMDb, because they upped the episode because it was 10 season 1, right? It was 10 season 1. No, it was 9 season 1. So season 2, I thought was 12. I could be wrong. No, it was 9 as well. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm miscounting. I'm counting their actual numbers. So it was 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It was like 10 or 11 for season 2. It was 10 season 1. And right, because their episode numbers, because their first episode is numbered 0. So
yeah,
we're on episode 7 now.
So we got 3 more episodes left.
Yeah, that's it. 3 more episodes. So it's going to start going down like very, very soon. It has been. The last 3 episodes have felt like a finale. It's been amazing. I love seeing Joey Badass back. He's funny in small doses.
I can't see an entire episode revolving around him.
No,
that would just be annoying.
God, no. But I want my Irving episode. I really want an Irving episode.
I do want to see Irving, like, how he came about.
Well, okay, so let's get. Hey, it's on IMDb, so these could be wrong. So the next 3 episode titles are "Don't Delete," "Stage 3," and "Shutdown." So, Shutdown. That's interesting. I think that's interesting. Very interesting.
So stage 3.
Yes, there is going to be a stage 3. Well, didn't they mention that before? They might have.
No, they only said it was stage 2. That was supposed to be the end of it.
Oh, maybe stage 3 was just that fake plane thing, but maybe they're actually going to do it, or it's going to be something different. Tina 92316, tonight was so sad on so many levels. I felt like I needed a hug after watching it tonight. Me too. My wife was asleep, so I hugged my dog.
I would hug my dog, but she's got stuff squirting.
Yeah, you don't want to hug your dog right now. And then the other 2 dogs were jealous that I only hugged one dog, but tough. Life is tough, dogs. Sai, the Olympian, says, Angela rewinding the footage, the entrapment of belief. I'm beginning to suspect that Elliot's critique on organized religion in season 2 might have been more important than we thought. Ooh, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to go back and listen. I remember loving that rant and actually playing it like 4 or 5 times, just going, yes. Yeah, totally. Everybody go back and rewatch that part. I think that's very important. Sai is on it, man. He is on the show. He's awesome. I love having that guy. You really help our podcast. Yep. Really, especially when we're tired. Getting ready for Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
Mr. Robot send us to a very sad one, losing. Mobley looks like he had a haircut and lost a little weight since last season. So that's why I was bringing up, like, how much time has it been? You know, maybe he had a chance. And it sucks that his coworkers turned him in too.
It also sucks that Trenton never learned how to drive, because otherwise.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, dude, that is a problem here. Well, can we talk about my oldest son who doesn't? You know, he's a city boy. We live in San Francisco, so there's that. I know so many people who don't know how to drive. I don't get that at all. I'm from San Diego, where everything is 30 minutes away. Yeah. I couldn't wait to learn how to drive. Now the kids today, they don't even care. I don't understand that. Yeah, I can see a city kid not learning how to drive. It is a pain in the ass.
Choose from New York City, so that's true. A lot of New Yorkers, a lot of New Yorkers do not know how to learn how to drive, because owning a car in New York is really freaking expensive.
Yep. I'm gonna try parking it. Well,
that's what I'm talking about. Parking.
That's what I deal with.
Gas. Yeah, just driving it around. It's just a pain in the butt. Yeah.
But if you've ridden our public transportation here, you would own a car, in my opinion. It's better to own a car. Yeah. All right. So, I guess we're going to call it a night on this one. Mm-hmm. This was a sad episode. Like the last two episodes, we were all fired up because they were just like crazy. And this one was like, oh, I don't want to talk about Mobley dying. Trenton dying. That sucked. I didn't think they were going to die. So that was pretty good. This show has stakes. So many shows miss that, that are just on, network TV. It was, again, not to bash on other shows too much, but when you watch a Mr. Robot or you watch The Punisher on Netflix, and then you could run back and watch like a network show, it's like, it's like watching a cartoon. The writing on television is, and movie writing cannot touch this stuff. Like, this is the best writing out there right now. So that's why we cover mostly TV. That's mostly on the cable networks or the pay networks, because that's where the best entertainment is right now, in my humble opinion. Just bought Westworld on 4K. Got the 4K 10 box that for $40. Got my 4K disc, my digital, my regular Blu-ray. Thing is awesome. It's packed with everything. And that's a show we cover too. If you guys haven't watched Westworld,
yes, we do.
Amazing show. Treat yourself.
You know my shirt that I'm wearing, right there.
Let me see your shirt there. Hang on.
See right there.
You got to talk. Oh, hey, you got your Mr. Robot shirt.
Mr. Robot shirt. Yes.
By the way, my tie is a Cody Vrosh. My friend Cody Vrosh makes ties. This is a tie. He makes them in his garage. It's pretty good.
Yes.
Okay. We have one more comment. We don't want to leave out a comment. And guys, please, I love all your comments. And if you could copy and paste and put them into our comments, because the chat doesn't import over. I'm saying it for the 7th episode in a row. That is totally lame. YouTube, please work on that. So Mad JDMT Turbo Boost. Wow, that doesn't roll off the tongue there, Mad. The moment the Dark Army was forcing him to shoot himself was shot so well. Felt like I was there and terrified. That was horrifying to watch. And just and Trenton's reaction to it, like, don't shoot him, and she not even worrying about herself at that point, even though I was expecting, if anything, it would be him dead. I was super surprised to see Trenton dead. That was a shocker. And that sucked, because they were the typical, like, just kids who were getting into something that sounded like it was fun and had no idea what they were getting into, and what the stakes were and the consequences. And let that be a lesson, you hackers. It was very, very sad ending. And that, kind of a bummer to podcast about it, but it's a great show. And this was not the first major death, but like, this one kicked us in the gut. I don't know, kicked me in the gut. I was like, damn. I was very sad after that.
Yeah, I knew they had to go. It was loose ends. Yeah, the Dark Army doesn't leave loose ends.
No, they don't. And the Dark Army was kind of something I wasn't rooting against. You know, I was just like, they were just a player in this that I was very
Yeah.
intrigued about. But now I want him to go down. I want
Yeah,
Zhang and the Dark Army to go down.
they've become a Bond organization, kind of like Spectre.
Yeah, but better.
Yeah.
But better.
More competent.
More competent and confident. Yeah, and with a much better leader.
Yeah.
White Rose is the shit and scary,
Yep.
and definitely scary.
Plus, they have teleporting, agents, obviously, that can go from New York to Arizona like that.
Yeah, kind of like a Game of Thrones. They got a teleporter there. Yeah, White Rose is the definitely the scariest trans person since Frankenfurter, maybe. I don't know. I mean, you rooted for Frankenfurter too, but he did eat Eddie. Okay, so that was not cool. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for watching. We really appreciate us as we stumbled through the death of a couple of major characters. Was not expecting that. We will be back next week. Sorry we were a little late. That won't happen again. We'll be on at 9:30 next Wednesday following we get the East Coast feed, so we wait an hour till after the show. All of our podcasts and videos can be found at nerdrotic.com. If you have not subscribed to the Nerdrotic channel on YouTube, please subscribe. We do appreciate it, and hit the bell for notifications. Dennis, our birthday boy, has a Twitter. It's at DeForce. I have a Twitter. It's at Nerdrotics with an S, plural, because somebody else took Nerdrotic. And our co-host John Reed, who does not do the show, has a Twitter. It's at John Reed 16. Feel free to follow us and tweet us. We do get back to you. If you get in the comments, we respond to as much as we can, but we do read them all. And we love hearing from you guys. This is my favorite show right now on the air. This is the podcast I look forward to the most. There's a lot of good stuff out there, but this is a cut above the rest. Dennis, any final words on tonight's very sad episode?
No, I think we've pretty much covered everything that we need to cover on that, and with our theories.
Yes. Okay, everybody. Well, take us out, Dennis.
I just want to say happy Thanksgiving, everybody. For tomorrow, and don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, America.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and may the small folks sing songs of your greatness. Good night, everybody.